Hi there. So, Harry here. Some of you have asked me, what is your routine? Because I'm always talking about you should have a routine. If your if your practice if you're a working reporter, if your practice is to show up a little bit late for a job, or because anything before being early is late, or not being prepared, not having packed the night before or set up so that you're ready to go. Um, there's that feeling of I'm already behind. And if you're a student, if the thing that I'm going to call it repetition, because practice gets confused with us practicing for speed and accuracy. But if you're practicing being nervous before a test, guess what? You're going to get really, really, really good at being nervous before a test. It's the routine, it's a habit that you're laying down as a program that's going to kick right into gear every time you think about, oh, I got a test tomorrow and I got to pass it because it's the third one and I have to. Let's ramp up that anxiety because we know how well we write when we're feeling anxiety and panic and brain chatter. So let's ramp all that stuff up. And I'm being facetious because we don't realize we're doing it. But every time, if you go into every test the same way you've gone into every test and you're not getting the results, it's because you're setting yourself up to repeat what's a habit, to engage in the program that's being laid down. So, what do? We got to change up the program. There's a lot of ways you can do it. There actually is two. You can do it by repetition because that's how the original program got laid down. The program that says, oh my God, I've got a test tomorrow, and now I get to feel anxious and worried and sick and know that I'm not going to pass. That's a program that you created by doing that same thing a couple of times. It wasn't my fault. I know it wasn't your fault. I know. Your brain looks at what you did, it looks at what happened, it looks at how you felt, and then it says, now I know how to handle that situation. So you've got to take control and change up the pattern, change up the habit, and let's do a better habit. Let's do um, an actual routine. I mean, there are things we do like finger drills, voice writers. I'm sorry, I love you, but this most of this will apply to you. Some of it won't. Deal with it. There are exercises out there that can coordinate left brain, right brain function. And some of them I wish I could do for you because I'm still working on them. I've got I've got uncoordinated brain halves, but I'm working on it. Find out what you're not good at and work on that. Find out what you are good at and don't work on that. But for those of us wanting a routine, a new program for when I show up for a job, how you show up for the test is how you're going to show up for the job. The way it feels before a test is the way it's going to feel before a job. I know, because after 45 years of reporting, I still feel that feeling. So, what do I do? What's my daily routine? First of all, my daily routine starts the night before because I want to have all my ducks in a row. I want to have my job set up. I want to know where am I going? Why am I going? When am I going? What am I going to be doing when I get there? How long am I going to be there? Do I need to pack a lunch? Do I mean I'm working from home. So I mean all those elements, a lot of them are taken care of. But for anybody out in the field still, I always packed and was ready the night before. Snackies, lunchies, things that are easy to eat while people won't stop. Bagfuls of those in my case, ready to take with me the next day. Just grab it out of the fridge, throw it in the steno bag, and you're gone. And I mean, the joke in San Francisco was if we have the big one, you want to be down at the end of the table with the court reporter because she's got all the food. Looks like I did. Really easily transportable, nutritious snacks and things that were easy to eat that weren't messy, so that I could keep eating even if they were not wanting to stop talking. Sometimes that's even impossible, but on a 5-minute break, you'd be surprised how much you can, how much nutrition you can pack in and still make phone calls and go to the bathroom and all the other things we need to do in our 5 minutes of a break. That's a new video. So that's my night before. I want to have everything set up. I want to have the information in my Delpo book. I want to have, you guys have seen me, I've got a folder for every job, and a job for every folder. This one happens to be black, but I've got my worksheets on one side. I've got my setup page, my worksheets, all my information. This is a job I took last night, which wound up being an overnight expedite, $300, 300 pages. Actually, 291. Okay, I get to call it 300. This makes me feel better. It was hard work. All that stuff is set up ahead of time the night before. And then I try to go to sleep, dim all the lights, turn the electronics off as early as I can in the evening so that, and take some melatonin if you need to, especially before a real-time job. I freak out sometimes still if I don't think I've got enough information. And I set up my job dictionaries for real-time jobs beforehand, the night before. And then I review them the next morning before, while I'm setting up and getting ready, just so that all that stuff is fresh in my mind. But I'm going to sleep, and my last thoughts before I let myself drift off to sleep, if I'm having trouble, I'll get to that in a minute. But I just try to affirm the things that I can affirm because I believe in them. I'm going to get to that job early because I've planned for it. I'm going to be ready because I have the skills for this job. I'm competent. I'm confident that I will give them the best job possible. I will be the best reporter I can be tomorrow. I believe all those things. I'm not going to tell myself something I can't believe. So those are my affirmations, and I just let myself then take deep breaths, do my little falling asleep routine. If you don't have one, I suggest you get one. And when I'm having trouble falling asleep, I literally will find a hypnosis, a meditation, something with a healing frequency that puts me in the state that I want to be in. And I let my brain rest. Somebody asking me something about my calendar for tomorrow. So not a problem. There you go. And then fall asleep. Be sure and get up earlier than you think you need to get up. Do all your stuff, get ready, get to the place where you're going to be performing your job. And I would suggest, if up for online, it's 20 minutes, and I log in 20 minutes ahead of time. Do what's comfortable. Make it ridiculously early so that you have time to sit and do nothing but breathe and feel where you are and see the atmosphere and the other people that are coming in. It always feels better when you're the first one there. When I'm the first one online, I love it. I have control of the screen. I have control of the deposition room because I was the first one there. And they get to, it's called mirror neurons. They get to match my frequency when they come in. Very rarely do I have somebody who's having a hissy fit or a conniption fit. My grandma used to say that. I loved it. How do you spell that, Grandma? They will literally tone to me. So it's my frequency that sets the tone of the whole job. And that can be in court also. Sometimes there are different environments. This isn't going to work for everybody all the time, but I tell you, it will not hurt to show up having that kind of center and control. So before I go online, before I get out of my car and walk into the building, or unless I know I'm going to have total privacy, this is what I do. Sit there, and in a moment of telling myself, I don't have anything to think about, right now because I've done all the thinking ahead of time. There's this is a Dr. Joe Dispenza thing. There's your thinking box. It's where you had the problem you were thinking about. You did all the thinking and all the planning. Your report reporter, you did all the practice and all the certifications and all of the jobs that you've done before now, all the tests that you've taken before now. So now's the time to step out of the thinking box, drop down into the place of no words. Let me keep my eyes open, but this would be something I would sit there in the car, literally take a deep breath, and just as I exhaled, imagine all of me dropping into my heart area. Putting my hands over my heart to touch, to remind me that I'm in my body and I'm safe. Another deep breath at my pace. There's no wrong way to breathe as long as you keep breathing. But breathing slowly and deeply under your control puts you in control. Breathing. Only thoughts come through is that I'm perfectly safe. I know what I'm doing. I'm protecting me all the time. I have the skills. I have the ability. I have the gumption. I have the tolerance. I have all of the things I need. And just letting it go and dropping it down into the place that knows. This part thinks it knows. This part knows it knows. It just does. Breathing deeply, feeling safe. There are times when, if I'm having trouble, and I'm not selling anything, but I do use essential oils, and there are certain ones that will trigger certain things. Like if I'm going to have a really fast job, I use a product by doTERRA called Thinker because it's got the elements in it that, and first of all, it smells like candy. I love it, but it's like peppermint, and it will. Rosemary will help you with focus. Peppermint will help you with being up and being focused. I'm going to look at this really quick and just tell you what's in it because I like it too. I personally don't like lavender. It's just me. But for some people, for anxiety, lavender is wonderful. This has juniper wood, cinnamon bark, bunch of wonderful things, some fruit oils, and patchouli. Patchouli is particularly good for anxiety and stress. And those are wonderful. I also, physically, I use copaiba and frankincense because every once in a while on a long job, my wrists actually will start kind of aching. And I put these both on at the same time. One is for pain, one is for neural trans, it helps the neurons and the pain sensors. And so anyway, those help me. I also use ginger when I'm wanting to. There's a thing with that doTERRA has. It's also another kid's oil. It's called Tamer, but it's really got a lot of ginger in it and peppermint, and it like is very calming. But you don't lose the speed. It's not that kind of calming. It's calm focus, and that's what you want. You don't have to do it with oils, although any citrus smell, get a lemon peel, get an orange peel, a lime, a grapefruit, any citrus oil will help you ground and center and calm. I know, because when I do hypnosis clients and I do ones that have tremendous trauma, especially early childhood trauma, when we're going back to that shit to get rid of it, I'm feeling that. And a lot of us feel what other people are feeling because we're empaths. We don't mean to be. It's the way we came out. It was the way we were programmed early on in our lives to feel what other people felt so that we could keep ourselves safe by knowing who's in what kind of mood, who's feeling what. Um, and it's the vicarious trauma that comes along with being a court reporter, that we do feel what other people are feeling and what they're going through. So have some citrus with you and just smell it and let it do its thing. You don't have to do anything for it. It will calm your nervous system. It will help you come back to center in those few moments before you go into a job. Just let's try. I'm going to try 1 minute of what I call a 1 minute meditation, and just so that you can feel what it feels like. Stop by. 5 seconds. You're going to take a deep breath. Let it go. Close your eyes. Close your eyes all the way down. And for the next 60 seconds, I just want you to feel what it feels like to do nothing, to do the thing that part of your brain tells you you should never do nothing. You should always be doing something, but not right now. This is just a minute to play, to pretend, to try, to see what does it feel like to do nothing. What does it feel like to have the thoughts going through your head and just observe them? Just watch them kind of way up there where they can't touch you while you're reporting. They're still happening, but you don't have to engage with them. If there's something really important, magical chattery brain, if there's something really important that comes up in the next few minutes while I'm working, just make a note. And 20 minutes after I've finished my job, bring that back to my attention. I don't want to ignore you, but I don't want you interrupting me when I'm working. And take another deep breath and let it go. All the things that you don't need today, let them go. You will never let go of what will be needed in the next few minutes when you're working. It just won't happen. Neurology knows exactly the parts that need to be on high alert, and it knows all the parts that can just let go for now. Just feel the quiet, and in the quiet there is safety. Safety. Feel you knowing that you are safe, that you are confident, that you are competent. You didn't get where you are right now by accident. That, my dear, is who you are. Take another deep breath, and when you're ready, come back to here and now, ready to tackle whatever you are ready to tackle, whether it's your job, a test, a practice, or taking 5 minutes for you during the day to imagine the amazing future that lies ahead for you. All the things I promise you could never have imagined. But try. There's power in that too. Love you guys.